Hutch! Kentucky was the kind of town that didn't make maps proud. One gas station, one blinking red light that never quite worked right. A scattering of houses pressed into the hills of Bell County, like they were trying to hide from the world. People there measured time by seasons, by church bells, by the way fog rolled down the mountains at night and swallowed the roads whole. At the edge of those hills sat a place everyone knew but rarely talked about, Devil's Garden. It wasn't marked by a sign. It didn't need one. A narrow dirt trail led off the main road, twisting through thick trees and briars, down into a hollow where the air felt colder even in summer. At the bottom lay a swimming hole carved from stone, fed by a slow, dark creek that slid over moss-covered rocks like oil. By day, it looked harmless. By night, it watched. Old folks warned their children to stay away. They said the water was too deep, the rocks too sharp, the woods too quiet. Teenagers laughed it off, of course. Warnings only made Devil's Garden more tempting. That summer, the heat was unbearable. Cicadas screamed from dawn until dusk. The nights clung to skin like wet cloth. School was out, parents worked long hours, and boredom pressed harder than any rule. So one evening, just as the sun dipped behind the hills, a group of teenagers followed the dirt trail down into Devil's Garden. They brought beer. They brought laughter. They brought the kind of recklessness that believes tomorrow is guaranteed. They didn't know the ground beneath their feet was already hungry. They didn't know the water remembered names. The moon hadn't risen yet when they reached the swimming hole. Fireflies blinked lazily between the trees. Someone set a radio on a rock, the music tinny and distorted. Shoes were kicked aside. Bottles clinked together. Someone dared someone else to jump from the high rock near the bend of the creek. "Come on," Tyler shouted, already halfway through his second beer. "This place ain't haunted. It's just a hole in the ground." Laughter echoed off the stone walls. They swam, splashed, shoved each other under water, gasping and laughing as they came back up. The creek was colder than expected, numbing, but it felt good against sunburned skin. Evan slipped on the rocks near the shallow edge. It happened fast. Too fast. One moment he was laughing, arms spread for balance. The next his foot slid on slick moss. His head cracked against a rock with a sound that cut through the music like a gunshot. Silence slammed down. Evan floated face down, unmoving. Someone screamed his name. Someone else dropped their beer, glass shattering on stone. Two of them dragged Evan toward the edge, his skin pale in the moonlight that finally crested the trees. "Wake up. Evan, stop messing around." "Oh God, oh God, oh God." His eyes were open but empty. Blood mingled with the dark water, spreading in thin ribbons that disappeared into the creek. Panic swallowed reason. They shook him. They slapped his face. They argued, voices overlapping, breaking apart. "We can't call anyone," one of them whispered, voice trembling. "We're drunk. Our parents will kill us." "He's dead," another said, barely audible. "We're all going to jail." The woods listened. The water lapped softly against the rocks, patient, waiting. Someone had an idea, a terrible idea, an idea born of fear and selfishness. They tied a rock to Evan's body. Their hands shook as they worked, fingers clumsy with terror and alcohol. The knot was sloppy, the rope biting into skin already cold. When they lowered him back into the water, his body sank, bubbles rising briefly before disappearing. No one looked at each other. They gathered their things in silence and left Devil's Garden as quickly as they could, the dirt trail swallowing their footprints. Behind them, the water closed over Evan's body. The creek accepted its gift. Morning light felt unreal. One by one, the teenagers woke in their beds, hearts racing, sweat-soaked sheets tangled around them. They told themselves it had been a nightmare, a shared nightmare, a stupid, drunken hallucination. By noon, the siren started. Police cars lined the road near Devil's Garden. Yellow tape fluttered between trees. Whispers spread through Hutch like wildfire. A body had been found. They went back, drawn by dread and disbelief. They stood at the edge of the trees, watching officers pull Evan from the water. The rope was still tied around him. The rock still dragged him down even in death. An officer shook his head grimly. "He drowned," someone said quietly. No sign of a fatal head injury. The words punched through them. Drown. Not the rock. Not the fall. The water. No one spoke up. Not then. Not later. The funeral came and went. Parents cried. Friends hugged. The town mourned. And the teenagers who knew the truth buried it deep, telling themselves they were kids, that they had panicked, that it was too late to change anything. But Devil's Garden did not forget. Years passed. 15 of them. Hutch grew older. So did the teenagers. They married, moved away, started families, tried to live normal lives. But nightmares followed them. Dreams of water filling lungs, of hands grabbing ankles, of a pale face staring up from beneath the surface. Then they began to disappear. One vanished while fishing alone. Another drove off a bridge on a clear night. A third was found drowned in a bathtub. No signs of struggle, eyes wide with terror. Each death echoed the same way. Water, silence, fear. The town whispered again. Devil's Garden was hungry. Only 2 of them were left. They met in secret. Faces hollow, hands trembling. "He's doing this," one whispered. "Evan." The other nodded, tears streaking his face. "We have to tell the truth." They went to the police. They confessed everything. The drinking, the fall, the rope, the rock, the lie. 10 years. That was the sentence. Prison bars couldn't drown the guilt, but at least the death stopped. Mostly. Locals say Devil's Garden changed after that. The water grew darker, the air heavier. Animals refused to drink from the creek. On full moon nights, the surface of the swimming hole became unnaturally still, like glass. That's when people started seeing it. A shape just beneath the water. A skull. White. Smooth. Floating just at the surface. Eye sockets black and endless. Staring up at the moon. Sometimes it sank when approached. Sometimes it stayed, waiting. Some swear they heard whispering. Some swear they heard laughter. Some swear the water reached for them. Those who stayed too long felt hands brush their ankles. Cold fingers curling. Pulling. Devil's Garden was no longer just a legend. It was a warning. On one full moon night, a group of outsiders came to Hutch, chasing stories and thrills. They ignored the warnings, laughed at the fear in the locals' eyes. They followed the dirt trail. The swimming hole waited. Moonlight spilled across the water, silver and perfect. The skull appeared almost immediately, bobbing gently as if greeting them. Someone stepped closer. The water rippled. Hands broke the surface. Screaming tore through the trees. By morning, only one of them returned, soaked and shaking, unable to speak except for one word. Sorry. The creek had claimed another. The town sealed the trail after that. Trees fell across it. Signs were posted. But signs rot. Trees decay. Curiosity survives. Devil's Garden remains. Even now, if you ask the old folks in Hutch, they'll lower their voices. They'll tell you not to go near the swimming hole. Not on a full moon. Not ever. Because the water remembers betrayal. It remembers fear. It remembers the weight of a rock tied in panic. And if you stand at Devil's Garden when the moon is full, if you listen closely and look carefully, you might see it. A skull on the water surface. Waiting. Watching. Wondering whose secret will sink next.